Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Caring About Wrestling. We're so excited to have you with us tonight. Of course, we have an excellent guest, but first, we're going to tell you about some of the live shows we got coming up. We got September 28th in Guelph, October 1st at the First Met here in Victoria. October 5th, there's a double header in Chatham, Ontario. October 12th, New Westminster on the mainland. You can get all of your tickets at 365prowrestling.com. Also want to invite you to check out Island Main Event Tuesday and Combat, both excellent shows right here on the 365 Pro Wrestling YouTube channels. So definitely check those out. Like, subscribe, leave some comments. We love all that stuff, definitely. And of course, don't forget that we always are looking for volunteers. Are you interested? Check out our social media. We might have a job for you that you're going to volunteer for. And also want to remind you that we have the Pro Wrestling Academy right here in Victoria. You think you have what it takes to be a wrestler? Maybe you do. Check it out. All right, without further ado, one of the OG wrestlers in BC, holder of many titles, known to associate with one FELTs, hailing from the fifth dimension, my guest this evening, the good Thelonious. Hello, good Thelonious. How are you?
Hello there. Wonderful to see you, Karen. Thank you so very much for having me. I have a musical kitten with me this evening. So far, so good. She's playing in the key of G, which is very interesting. It's nice. One of her favorites, of course. I'm really happy to be floating in here with all these dandelions and floating below. Can I affect these dandelions down here?
Yes, you can.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's wonderful here in Dimension K7398. Of course, the dimension of Karen, the intern, and your fantastic show, Caring About Wrestling. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. We're so very, very happy to have you. Finally, I've been definitely wanting to have you as a guest for so long. You are one of the most interesting characters in 365, and I just want to say, like, you've had quite a journey over the last year in 365 since I started watching. And it's gone everywhere from having FELTs, there's been some mittens involved, some fifth dimension shenanigans. So can you just give me a quick little synopsis of everything that's kind of been happening with you in the last, year or so?
Well, I will say, Karen, that I think you're getting a smashing deal by having me here on your podcast events here, because not only you're getting Thelonious Jovinious Harlequin from the Fifth Dimension, customary member of the Fifth Dimensional Mittens Council, of course, very important and good friend to my lovely FALTs, but you also get PJ Harley, the professional wrestler of 25 years who's traveled quite a bit, and really I've had a real eventful last year or so with 365 Pro Wrestling as good Thelonious, and it's been fantastic so far. I've really enjoyed interacting with all the fans in so many different ways and creating so many very special stories for all the people to enjoy. And those stories, I don't always create them entirely with everything in mind. I think a lot of things come together with everyone who's a part of it, and it's not just myself, but either my opponents who I'm battling in Mortal Kombat in the ring. They also have they're a big piece of the puzzle, and I couldn't do any of this without them, and without members like yourself and Ramon Carlton and the announcers who do the work, PG Mike, and the fantastic people who put in a lot of work to not only understand who is good Thelonious and what is good Thelonious all about, but adding their own 2 cents. And I think I really couldn't do it. It wouldn't be the same without all these different people in their own pieces of the puzzle. It's very special.
It is indeed. It is indeed. And you definitely make it even more special with just amazing energy that you bring every time you step into the ring. And the fans just love you. The fans absolutely love you. As soon as they hear your theme music come on, your entrance music, they just go crazy because they don't know what's about to happen. It could be anything.
And that's the key. I really enjoy that part of it. And the entrance is really where it all kind of stemmed from. I wanted to create something different, an experience that's it's unlike anything else when you come to a pro wrestling event. And there's only so many things that I can control as a professional, as being the one coming to the ring. I can only control what I carry myself to, what I bring to the ring, like my FALTs and my magical trunk from the fifth dimension, and my mittens, of course, my magical mittens. So these are things that I can control. So I try my best to create a scenario where these things are special, and everything about just coming to the ring and having moments instead of just having regular theme music. I was contemplating using Smashing Pumpkins song as well as my theme music originally, and I wanted to make the bullet with butterfly wings,
Oh,
and
love that
I really, me too. It's a really fantastic song. It has really awesome energy to it, but I kind of figured like I wanted something else, like something that builds tension and builds towards the final moment of slamming the trunk closed and turning and giving everyone a smile. Ah, it's a wonderful day here in Karen the Intern's podcast, huh? It's also a wonderful day for good Thelonious, ha! And to kind of have a standardization of moments, but to be separated by everything that just ebbs and flows within every event and even interactions with fans and everyone who comes they have a different piece to the puzzle. They as the fans they have different ideas and different thoughts about what is inside the trunk. What do the mittens really mean? Where was FALTs from? All these thoughts and ideas and I don't want to fill in the blanks. I want to leave it open. It's an open book that anyone can add to. It's like a constant flowing podcast that's crowdsourced by everybody, and I think that makes it really special. I think.
I think so too. I think so too, and unique and quite dramatic as well. There's always a lot of drama around everything that you do, and I really appreciate the gravitas of it all. It's awesome for sure. So how long have you been wrestling then? You mentioned 25 years. I thought I heard you say.
Yeah, I mean, off and on for 25 years. I grew up in Ontario, Canada, in a very special place called Florence, Ontario, and we were at a very young age just bouncing on the trampoline, pretending to be pro wrestlers. A very good friend of mine and I ended up producing our own television show and putting on pro wrestling events in our local town that drew very well. And then, ironically, a real professional named Scott Demore, who ended up producing television for TNA Impact Wrestling, being a very important part of what was happening there. At the time, was running Border City Wrestling out of Windsor, and our television broadcast on Shaw Cable was viewed in Windsor. He saw it, called the cable company, told them to take it off the air immediately. We can't have this stuff on the air. These are not professionals. They're not trained professionals. He called us and chastised us about not being trained professionals. And we were like, you could be trained for this? The internet wasn't even a thing. So we had no idea. So we're just like, geez, okay, well, maybe we should get trained. And ironically, the school that I chose and went to was one that Eddie Osborne was also a part of around the same timeline. So we created some connections there in Ontario. And then my friend, of course, ended up becoming a very high-level professional wrestler in the world-class Maniac Eric Young. And the person that gave him his first contract was Scott Demore, ironically. So it's amazing how things come around, and it's a really special place to come from, and a really special group of friends that came from Super K, who's also a 365 Pro Wrestling out of Guelph. He went to high school with him. He's a very close friend of mine, and we spent a lot of time just contemplating what we wanted to be. And I will be honest, I did not contemplate Good Thelonious at that time or anything even close to it. Back then, I was chubby. I had a belly. I had spiky punk rock hair, so I wanted to be the pick your nose and flick it at the fan sleazy guy. It kind of fit my condition at the time and what I was able to offer in pro wrestling. So I was able to step in at that point and become a character of sorts, and that evolved into TJ Harley, the traveling guy that gets beat up, on large TV shows like the TNA Impact or Dynamites or whatever they called it at that time. Was it I don't remember the name of the show. Or having a couple moments in a WWE ring and some special moments as well as a professional. So none of those things I'd really contemplated as a kid. We were just hoping to be on some shows and make an impact in just Ontario.
That's quite the story. And so at what point did you transition to coming to the island, or I guess your mainland, right? Your Powell River.
Powell River, technically the mainland, but more or less, it's 2 ferries to get here. We're pretty much an island anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
But my wife's family moved here. It was a lovely place and a wonderful place to be. And at first I wasn't quite sold on it, just with the pro wrestling aspect being such a big part of my life. But as things wound down at the time I was living in Nashville, Tennessee, and trying my hand at the Mid-South territory, but things had kind of rubbed raw in that scenario, and I'd lost my love a little bit for what I was doing. So I moved to Powell River and joined the fire department and got a real job and became almost an adult for about 10 minutes there. And then I found that Eddie Osborne in Campbell River was running shows over at the old Navy League Hall there in Campbell River. I came over and I wrestled my first match in I think 3 or 4 years. It was against BJ Laredo, and him and I knocked it out of the park. It was fantastic. It rekindled my love for doing this and for being a part of this. And so I started coming back over and frequenting events at the Navy League Hall with PWA, which now became 365 Pro Wrestling, and it's been really cool to be a part of it, to watch both 365, Eddie's creations and his ideas and thought processes grow as a company, and also just like the talent and skilled young individuals like Haviko, like Nolan James, like Judas Icarus, who really elevated themselves and as people, as men, and as professionals, and it's been real special to be a part of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned some great up and comers. Well, I guess they're here. They're not up and comers anymore. They're already here. But some of the younger crew, you mentioned Deviko and Nolan James. Inferno would be another one I could think of. These guys are just fantastic, and I feel like they came around at a time when wrestling was really there was like a resurgence happening. Like everybody was getting really interested in wrestling again. And so did you find that as well? And how did that kind of influence what you were doing as a wrestler?
Yeah, live events in general got a resurgence, about 2021, which is great. I think live music has been doing a lot better. People just gathering and being together and feeling. I'm a bit of a hippie, so I'm big on energy, and I feel like it's super important to notice it and to recognize it and to, if manipulate it or make it into something special. And the energy of a live pro wrestling event, there's nothing like it. It's at any scale, even at the smallest of scales or the grandest of scales, it's like dynamite in a bottle, and you're never sure what's going to happen, but it's always going to be entertaining and fun. And being a part of 365 has been real special in the sense that it's wonderful young people working hard to create something special, but also that the whole family can enjoy. It's not directed specifically at any type or any demographic. It's fun for everybody. Everybody can be a part of it. Everybody can have fun, and that is really special to be a part of, in my opinion.
Absolutely. There's nothing quite like watching a live wrestling show. Get your tickets at 365prowrestling.com. Believe it or not, we're already at our first commercial break. So we're going to take a quick little break, you guys, but don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with more.
Am I going to be floating? Am I going to be floating again?
Floating.
Whoa. Are there events too? Are there events over here or over here?
Over here, over there.
There.
How's things going? Good?
Yeah, we're good.
Sounding really good. You have a very official time where I just watch the clock on
Totally. How does that work? Guys, there's a timer up in the top corner that I'm using.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then
Is this the part where we act like we're talking about something very serious and everyone just missed that little part of really seriousness, and now we're just stepping into you've just joined us here.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're doing. It's almost like you've done this before. All right, everybody. I'm Karen, the intern, and we are back with Karen about wrestling and good Thelonious. So we're talking a lot about wrestling, and it's been pretty amazing so far. So yeah, I just started watching wrestling about a year ago, a little over a year ago here on the island. It's one of the most exciting things that I've ever seen in my life, and I immediately wanted to be a part of it. And so, what do you think is like what do you think is really the element of wrestling that brings so many people, so many different people, as you mentioned, together? Like, what is that thing? What is that special magic thing?
So, in my opinion, it's Shakespeare. It's every story has those ebbs and flows, and you reach a climax, and then it's either a tragedy or a comedy. The baby face loses, the baby face is victorious. I don't know. We just use the word that fans don't know. Nobody knows these words. So it's live Shakespeare where you're at the theater and you're a part of the show and you can, give your opinion on whether, the main character is going to die or not, is going to be victorious or not. It's I think it really follows the same pathways as theater in a lot of ways, but it's also fully packed action theater. And I loved action movies. I was a huge Jackie Chan fan. Still am a huge Jackie Chan fan. I love 80s and 90s action movies. I was just watching Demolition Man the other day. I watched
I love that
Bloodsport
movie.
the day after that. So like if I'm going to watch something streaming or something online, I more times than not I'm going back a little bit and I'm trying to step into, put myself in the old times, but also like re-experiencing what I was passionate about as a young man growing up, and those really rekindle my own passions about being an entertainer now, and being in the ring, and taking something from Jackie Chan or from a moment in Bloodsport, or a look that Jean-Claude Van Damme has on his face, and like I study those things. I think they're super important to being a part of something special, of a huge event, or any size event. We're especially where fans are there, they're involved, it's live. I really, the energy, like I was talking about earlier, of the fans, and kind of playing to that as best we can to give them either something they absolutely don't want to see, that makes them spitting mad, or something they absolutely adore in a moment that's absolutely special to them. And it's like a Maya Angelou quote. They don't remember what you did, or they don't remember what you said. What they remember is the moments that you create, and I think those are the special things. And it's really special to have a hand in what that is for a 10-year-old kid that's coming to a show, or a 70-year-old lady who's been to 100 shows over the years, and always like swinging her cane, or being giving her opinion towards the bad guy, or whatever it may be.
I have to tell you, so my mom was here. My mom and my dad and my brother were here this past weekend from Calgary, and they were very sad that there didn't happen to be a show this weekend, but I did show them some clips of you in particular. And my mom said, okay, we have to schedule the next trip for a time when Good Thelonious is wrestling, because I want to see that guy wrestle. So my mom's a big fan. I just thought I would mention that.
That's awesome. That makes me happy.
So I wanted to ask you too. So Good Thelonious is just, I don't know, such a big presence, right? And so I want to know a little bit more about how he came to be and the evolution of him.
Yes, indeed. Well, originally I wanted to be I'm getting up in the I've been wrestling 25 years, so I've been around a while. So I can't do physically everything that I did as a younger up and coming wrestler, and I mean that's a little bit a part of it. But really, I wanted to be like a bit of an anti everything that I don't like about, not to say I don't like, that I don't quite, I'm not, maybe not able to do, or not quite finding to be what I enjoy about pro wrestling. And like high spots, as they're called, or big, somebody flipping off the top rope and being caught and doing a hurricanrana, that's amazing, and I wish I could do it. But I can't possibly do those things anymore. So I wanted to be an anti to that. So instead, my first idea for Good Thelonious, this is why he did the figure 5 leg lock, is because I wanted to slow things down at the time when fans generally don't experience that. I wanted to turn wrestling upside down a little bit, and when things should be ramping up, and the energy of the crowd starts to build up to that excitement, I wanted to take that away, and have fans more or less hate me because I'm not going to climb the top rope. I might say, you want to see me climb the top rope? Armbar. You want to see me do I'm going to do the universal signal for I'm going to flip off the top rope and then headlock. So just my original idea was just to be anti everything that I guess I could say fanboys, or people who are really intimate about the action part of pro wrestling. I wanted those people to not like me. So I started thinking about this character, and started thinking about what I could do that makes me look and feel different, and started working on what sort of way that Thelonious would talk, and the way he would communicate and bring forth his ideas and structures. And I also started to pull from movies, like moments that I really enjoyed out of movies, and turning them into the promos that I did to introduce my character. If you're really paying attention, there's Spartacus is in there. There's 007's in there. In those early promos, I took a lot from movies and television shows and just speeches from the movie Network, different classic moments that I really enjoyed and that really hit me, and tried to tie those into pro wrestling and make it about pro wrestling. And I had a lot of fun doing that, and that really let me dig into who Thelonious was as a character and really dig into who I wanted to be as far as presenting myself as an entertainer, which it's just like anything else, it evolved. And I found a couple times where someone whose opinion I really appreciate came to me and was like, "Hey, when you come out, you do that, this big entrance. Everyone's waiting for this. The moment it ends, and you turn and you look at everybody." And then I immediately would chastise the fans. He said to me, "What I heard people say a couple times was like, oh, you're a bad guy.' Like they were disappointed that I was a bad guy." And I was like, "Damn, he's kind of right. I'm creating these entertaining moments. I'm doing an entrance like nobody else has done, is doing, and I'm building to this moment, and then it kind of was the plan to bring it up and then immediately take it away. But hearing that people were left on a ledge about like wanting to enjoy what comes next, kind of teased me a little bit into like, well, maybe I could be something that this could be Thelonious could be something that people would enjoy, that people would be entertained and want to be a part of, to see a person in just regular black tights and no knee pads. That is very strange, and just regular black boots at the end of the day, and just a long hair and a ridiculous mustache, but a winning smile, and just that turned into the energy that people wanted, and I started to buy into that. And again, like people being a part of the show is really it's why they're coming, is because they're a part of it. So it seemed wrong to take that away or to be selfish, in my opinion, about my charactership and about how I wanted to present Thelonious. So instead, I bought into that feeling, and immediately I was very happy that I did it.
Well, and I think your fans are really happy too. And I have to say, like, I do some promos at the live shows, and it's always such a joy to find out like what is the promo with Thelonious going to be like. What are we going to be doing here? What craziness are we bringing to the table this time? So I love that about you, because yeah, it's always very theatrical and very big, and the fans obviously like really, really love it. So I wanted to ask too a bit about the evolution of the mittens, which I was going to bring mine tonight, and I'm so sad that I didn't. But I keep them close by at home just in case I need them for any reason, like fighting off attackers of some kind.
Well, lefty and righty have a mind all their own, as it would be. It's something that's was just an added. I stole it from Wario, actually. From Super Mario. Wario had his white gloves, and he was always in mustaches, up to no good. And I thought that was something different, and plus the awkwardness I was looking for originally with my overall look. It was the white gloves with the black tights. It was a good yin and yang sort of thing. And then eventually I started. I'm a big Bugs Bunny fan, Looney Tunes back in the day, and specifically Bugs Bunny would slap Elmer Fudd with the gloves, and I thought that was something like a moment as a kid that I thought was amazing. So I just started doing that, and then at the end, speaking of every match, I draw the line, come step on the line, slap you across the face. How do you like the taste of that leather? Huh? And how does everyone react to that? And everyone, as far as their characterships and how they want to present them as professionals, they all react differently, and they all have different ideas. And I found it became awesome, because every time I was working with someone, and even if we'd worked a few times, they had some time to mull about it. Last time we did this, what if we did this? I slapped you last time, and you were, oh man, and you turned and came at me hot, and things got real. This time you duck it, because why would you let me slap you twice? But then, I got two mittens, caught you with the other one. So you build it up from there, and everyone's ideas and thoughtfulness towards what the gloves and what the mittens should mean. It became a part of Thelonious, and that was exactly what I was looking for. I wanted to create moments that I didn't create personally, that everyone was a part of, and now my opponent's now a part of it, and the fans get to be a part of it. There's so much more to come, and so many more fun things we can do with the mittens. And there's the Council of Mittens in the fifth dimension, and they have an opinion about things. The mittens join the Moment of Truth for a little while. They're in a gang. I mean, gang life is tough. It changes a person. So I don't know. So they are back in my possession now, which is very special to me. But I don't know if they are different. They've been acting differently. They haven't been as nice to me in particular, and I think it's very different and surprising every time, and I think that's what this is all about.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we got to take another commercial break, if you can believe it. So don't go anywhere, you guys. We're going to be right back with more Caring About Wrestling and the Thelonious.
Aha! Get my mittens. I got a pair around here somewhere. Oh, there's a dark mittens too, and light mittens. Aha!
And then 10.
And we are back with more Caring About Wrestling and good Thelonious, and the mittens have made their appearance, ladies and gentlemen. How would you happen to be without them?
Lefty's saying something to me right now, but I got the headset on, so I can't hear it. He's kind of annoyed with me, but yeah, I can't hear you right now, Lefty. Sorry.
I wish I could read glove, but I can't. So
I think they would know sign language or something by now. But
yeah, you'd think. Yeah, you'd think, right? So we talked a little bit about the mittens, but I also want to talk to you about your glorious, glorious mustache. And so it is glorious, but I feel like I've seen it get you into trouble a time or two where people have used your mustache against you in the ring, which I think is quite crazy. So tell me about that. I mean, are you ever worried somebody's going to pull the mustache literally right off your face?
That is actually why I no longer use my mustache as a weapon, Karen. It was happening. I started to notice on my one side, my left side, it was getting literally torn out, and it was shorter and beaten up, and I had to, because it became such a powerful weapon in the ring that no one was ready for it. No one could counter it. I was flipping my opponents, but then they started to figure it out and started to twist downs and tear on it, and it was actually coming apart. So this is legitimately stuck to my face, and I don't want an uneven mustache, or I'd be driving down the road all the time like this. I'd be uneven constantly. It would be completely ridiculous.
Around in a circle all the time. It would just be,
right. I couldn't walk in a straight line at that point. So unfortunately, there's some changes that I've had to make to my lifestyle in general to have such a mustache. I don't know if you know this, but eating hamburgers is extremely difficult with a fantastic mustache like this. It's you're actually eating the more. So when I dress up the mustache, which is a lot of work, my goodness gracious, but when I dress it up, then I could eat a hamburger or maybe like a wrap. Like I cannot eat those things normally. So a soup is a challenge. I mean, smooching my lovely wife can be a challenge. So she appreciates when it's dressed up. I mean, she loves the look of it too.
Is that the cat you're referring to? The cat likes your mustache?
Where's those kitty cats?
So how would you feel if we talked we've been talking a lot about wrestling. So how would you feel if we got a little bit personal now?
Goodness, please do.
Not too personal, but so what sort of things do you like to do when you're not wrestling?
Well, that's a great question. I enjoy music a ton, especially the last few years. I started playing the piano, harmonica, singing in a couple bands, just playing music with whoever's willing to play music with me. At the end of the day, I constantly try to bring, if there's a piano in the building, I can't help but to start jamming on it. and I'm not good per se. I can only play a few chords, and that's what I like to call a campfire piano. It's like I can sit around a campfire and play, some basic chords to get through, but I'm not by any means a composer of music. But I really enjoy the camaraderie and the fun and the joy and the energy that comes off people when you're playing music. And last week I was in Victoria. Nolan James was playing his guitar, and I brought my keyboard, and we had a little jam session. And I heard you also play music, Karen. So I mean, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to jam at some point. At some point, Damien Kane's also a fantastic musician. His Desert Man song is tremendous,
Yeah.
and him and I had a little back and forth between the piano and the guitar during our feud, which was a lot of fun. So bringing forth that into Thelonious as a character, but also into just TJ and my life and stuff, it's awesome. And yeah, just one of the things I really enjoy.
I feel like there's a lot of parallels between music and wrestling, like the type of energy it brings and the type how it kind of brings people together, and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting that and you mentioned it, like there's so many wrestlers who are also musicians or into music of some kind. Like I found out even Infinite Legacy is a singer, believe it or not. So I think we should
know that
365 band. That's where
absolutely.
I think this is all leading, right?
100%.
This is what's got to happen. Yeah, for sure. And I could not be more excited. I've actually got goosebumps right now. So let's definitely
that sounds super
fun. Okay, so do you believe in ghosts?
I believe in energy that's unexplainable, and we'll explain it by using the word ghost. I think that this place we exist is special and was created for us for us to enjoy. And I don't know that and it's something. It's a deep question, but I don't know that it's something that's a place that we can stay or stick around in. But maybe the energy of our essence can, and it can affect affect people that are still here, still experiencing this. So yeah, I guess the short answer is yes.
maybe more like spirits or the spiritual realm as opposed to like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to put it.
Yeah. Would you ever want to stay in a haunted house?
I actually have it's called the Drover's Inn in Scotland, and
Scotland, really?
a haunted place, and also a place called it was a castle, Goblin Ha, which a necromancer lived in Goblin Ha. It wasn't even a castle that like you could find on a map. It was on a golf course in the forested wooded area, and there's not like a trail to get to it. You more or less had to ask the golf course, "Hey, I'm going to go check out this stuff." So yeah, it was a pretty like the energy of that place. We're talking about ghosts, like it was different and definitely you want to respect places like that, but at the same time, it's amazing to be able to experience something that you can't explain that has such history like that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Have you ever been on the Ghostly Walk in Victoria?
No, I didn't know there was a ghostly walk in Victoria.
Yeah, so they do like a little walk around downtown Victoria, and they give you like the history of the place or the building or whatever, and they also tell you a ghost story that is associated with that place as well. So it's a super fun way to learn history and also to get a little creeped out. So if that's your jam, then you should definitely check it out.
Cool.
Okay, so we talked about you play musical instruments. So did you say you just started playing piano, or is this something you've been doing your whole life?
No, I took piano lessons as a kid, but I didn't like it all that much, and I didn't like it because I couldn't. I don't know, maybe I couldn't read music all that well, or I wanted to produce amazing sound right away, and it was very much learning the pieces of the puzzle. And I think in the same with guitar, I never really took to guitar all that much, but I found 2019 I had some time on my hands, so I spent some time in front of the piano and just started played a couple songs that I could just watch. And it's like now with YouTube and stuff, there's videos like Guitar Hero type of videos that the keys come down and you can follow along. And I learned a few songs that I could out the gate play and make sounds that sounded like music and sing along to myself. And right after that, I was hooked. And I was like, okay, now this is something I enjoy. So now I try to play every day I can. Actually, this is my backdrop is the piano here. This beautiful 120-year-old piano, and it
Wow,
sounds gorgeous and it's amazing. It makes me sound like I know what I'm doing, which is cool.
that's amazing. And your cat is apparently very talented too.
Yeah, yeah. There's three of them here, and I made a joke about the Kia G, but it's really interesting when I play in the Kia G how much the orange cat in particular reacts to it, and she's always very happy, puts her belly up in the air. She's just completely thrilled that I'm playing G major specifically.
Did you ever see those videos on YouTube of like somebody who like goes into a field of cows and plays music and all the cows just like come to them? I want to do
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
want
that's
to.
awesome
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, I wonder what other animals like. I mean, if you got an underwater situation and you're playing for dolphins, like how cool would that be?
That would be very cool if like a whole bunch of dolphins and stuff just started coming and hanging out with you. That'd be amazing.
I bet you they'd join in. There'd be some sort of dolphin chorus set up starring Echo the
100%.
Dolphin or something.
Absolutely. They might even have their own instruments like made out of seashells and stuff. Who knows? Who
I
knows?
I buy that 100%.
Yeah. So I think we're at the part of the interview where I need to ask you the most important question and the one that all the fans want to know the answer to. What is your favorite dinosaur and why, good Thelonious?
So the Chinese calendar has 13 animals on it, and out of those 13 animals, 12 of them are legitimate animals, and one is a dragon. Which, man, I got some questions. So I'm going to say dragon. Because
Okay.
I think that dragons are the only legitimate dinosaurs, and that dinosaurs are just a fun story that they tell us to keep us hooked on different ideas that come from a specific production of what school and the control mechanism that is education, in my opinion, wants us to look at. So yeah, I don't personally buy dinosaurs, but if I was going to buy them, I'd say dragons.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, I think they're pretty similar when you look at them. They're very
Yeah,
scaly and
I
some
could
can
see how
fly.
maybe a mistake might happen where they say these terrible monsters were here and this is what they did when there's something else entirely that maybe isn't the story that they want to tell us right now.
I think that is probably one of the most interesting answers to that question that I've ever had. I'm just gonna say. So how many push-ups can you do?
50?
50? Like in a row?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I
pretty good.
actually did that. Tested my that not too long ago. So
Did you?
confident 50.
Nice. I love that. And so okay, so we're gonna get a little deep again here. How do you personally measure success for yourself?
That's a great question. Everyone should measure it differently. That's yeah, it is what it is. A personal question, and it's certainly not financial gain, in my opinion. It's having an effect on the energy of this place as a whole, and making helping other people have special moments that I've had in the past or that I've wanted to have, and creating those, creating special moments for people, and in a sense, everybody wants to live forever, and none of us can. But your energy and your essence can, and by creating special moments that people talk about forever, or is recorded online for a time being, however long this magical place we call the internet dimension is going to last. That that's pretty amazing, and in the last few years, lost a couple of really special friends of mine, and for them, that's how I remember them, and that's how I hold on to their memory. So that's what I hope and expect from my own self.
That is an absolutely great answer. You are certainly a deep person. I can't believe we're already at the end of this interview. If you can believe it, it went fast. Please tell me
Sure,
that you'll come back again because I feel like there's so many more questions I have for you. Will you come back again and be a guest in the
I
future?
yeah, of course, we've had a lot of fun as well.
Thank you so much. But
Uh,
before we go, we've got the lightning round.
ah, zap.
I know. So I'm going to give you some rapid fire questions. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind. You ready? Pew
Okay,
pew. Okay, here we go. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Wars.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yep.
Frozen yogurt or ice cream?
Yogurt.
Potato salad or coleslaw?
Coleslaw.
What's your favorite candy?
Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yes, Macho Man, Hulk, or Ultimate Warrior?
Macho Man.
Favorite band?
Frederick Chopin.
Ooh, I love that. Good answer. Good answer. Going way back for that one. Team Freddy Krueger or Team Jason Voorhees?
Jason, he's just so misunderstood. He's just like trying to go to camp. People just, and having magical dream powers just seems rude. So I'm Jason.
I am with you 100% on that. King Kong or Godzilla?
Let people sleep. King Kong, 100%.
What's your favorite YouTube channel?
365 Pro Wrestling. There's actually one called My Lunch Break, which is super fascinating. It's just the guy's opinion and perspective on old world buildings and the timelines in which they were built, and just he matches up a lot of patterns and of different places all over the world where he does his research, and really interesting, thoughtful guy. So I'd say My Lunch Break.
Awesome. And if the folks want to find you on the interwebs, where can they do that?
I'm on the Instagram, Good Thelonious on Instagram. And of course, you can find me on 365 Pro Wrestling Combats or any of the 365 Pro Wrestling events and shows that are nearest to you, or on the interwebs, and sometimes in Ontario as well.
Amazing.
My Kermit the Frog arms.
Well, thank you so much for being such a great guest tonight. It's been such a pleasure to have you. Thanks for the chat. And for you folks out there, like, subscribe, leave some comments. We'd love to hear what you have to say about the interview. And that's it from Karen the Intern, Good Thelonious, and a cat. Have a good night. See you next time on Karen About Wrestling.